Welcome to my video. In this video, I want to review the July 15th, 1978 Science News magazine. I purchased several of these on eBay and they're kind of interesting to look at. And I just wanted to show you some of the articles in here and go through, just flip through it. Advertisement just tells what's in these letters to the editor. I read some of those, they're kind of interesting. What people are thinking. But the first article that jumped out at me was the moon believed found for Pluto. Okay, so this one, reason caught my eye. I've seen that picture in several books before as a standard text on the discovery picture of the moon of Pluto. In '78, we didn't really know much about Pluto. It was just, we knew it was out there. It had been discovered in 1930 by Clyde Tombaugh, but they started noticing a bump when they were taking pictures of it. And they started recording, looking back at old plates there at the U.S. Naval Observatory in Flagstaff. And it was an astronomer, let's see, James W. Christie, and he also had some associates there that helped him. They went back and looked at the old plates and noticed this bulge around the planet. And so they made an announcement. It was kind of funny here, but the confusing was understandable. The last time we had a press conference here equipped with one astronomer was 101 years ago. At the time, the event was Ashford Hall's discovery of Phobos and Deimos. Those are the Mars satellites, the moons of Mars. So they hadn't done this in a long time, so it's kind of neat. And what they found out was this moon orbits every 6 days, 9 hours, and 17 minutes. So it's basically locked. It's kind of a binary system, basically. And so what that implies is, since that's the same rotation period of the planet itself, then the moon stays in the same position in the sky every night and day. So if you're on that side of the planet, you see the moon. If you're on the other side of the planet, you didn't even know the moon existed. So it's kind of a strange arrangement there, not like ours. And so this gives a lot more information about the planet and the system. They found out from this, they were able to figure out more of the mass of Pluto, and it started giving us more information about the planet. So that was a big discovery of that time. And just about some of these articles I'm looking at here, a new meteor type, just different. I'll let you kind of look at it. I've noticed I've looked at several of these articles in these different magazines from that period. There's a lot of work on schizophrenia. That must have been a very big topic of the biological sciences, the medical sciences. Oh, and there's the Soyuz 6 resupply. That was the early Space Lab type satellite from the Soviets. And this magazine is set up, it's just a weekly magazine. I remember reading this back when I was in that period, actually. Biomedicine, behavior, environment. It goes to each individual sections, and then it goes through and talks about what's going on in that area right there. Here's schizophrenia, paranoid. Another reference to that. It has a lot of health type stuff like alcohol, tobacco, and cancer. A lot of good articles on that. I mean, it's got a lot of good information in it. I remember reading this many years ago. This is kind of the second article that I want to focus on. And this is on the small hydroelectric plants. What the deal was back in '78, when this magazine was put out, there was a lot of demand for more hydroelectric power, more power in general, because of the oil crisis had driven up the price of all the fossil fuels so much. That occurred during the mid-'70s, during President Carter's administration primarily. And so what they did was they went around to all these existing dams and tried to figure out, could they be suitable for hydroelectric power? And so they had decommissioned a bunch of these 770 hydroelectric plants that had been abandoned since 1940, and this was due to the cheap energy prices. So we had got dependent on all this foreign cheap oil, and then when the price went drastically up, they said, oh no, and then they started looking at these plants. And so, let's see, each additional plant existing dam add, they're looking at, they could add quite a bit of power to the overall grid by putting these online. And let's See, this is, I'm going to the next page of this. This is planting new genes, another article about crops. Let me go to the next page if I can get to it. Well, the magazine's kind of old. Okay, here's a follow-up on that article on the small hydroelectric plants. It shows about the different type of turbine designs. This one was using, it's apparently simpler than that, it looks simpler to build than this one. And then here's another turbine design down here that talks about new for small hydro tube turbines, top of tube removed to show the blade. So this is kind of a cross-sectional view of it. I thought that was kind of neat. I like looking at that kind of stuff. And so this goes, they always have a book section in the back of the back, what the new books are. And then these are some of the books on the back. And I kind of looked at these. I don't think I've got any of these. I did want to follow up a little bit on that hydroelectric, give you a little follow-up information on that. So in '78, the oil crisis renews interest, and thousands of dams lack generators. And then the small hydro scene is a major opportunity, right? That's what the whole article is about. They're looking at it, thinking this is really going to be a good thing. The net effect was it really didn't get activated very much because of the environmental impact, the location. People didn't really want it there, or things just didn't work out. But today we have about 2,200 hydroelectric plants, 80 gigawatts of capacity. It's about 6% of the U.S. electricity. And there's still a lot of potential there to do that. It hasn't really been activated. And this is a picture of the hydroelectric Grand Coulee Dam in Washington State right there. I hope you learned a little bit about this magazine. I thought it was kind of interesting. I enjoy looking at these old magazines. And if you do send me a comment, let me know what you think of stuff like this. I always appreciate hearing from you. And thank you for watching.